Welcome back, everyone. This is Aluminum Tarot. Thanks so much for joining today. We are now reading for the sign of Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising for the month of February 2026, and these will be love readings. Hooray! So as you know, I'm not a massive fan of love readings because they tend to be very, what's the word for it? They tend to be very deceptive. Deceptive in the sense that they take away from spiritual matters and they keep people focused into a cycle of limerence. I think I have ranted about that enough, so you can check that out on one of the previous podcasts. But I'm going to go ahead and just read into the month of February for Taurus, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Hopefully we'll see what kind of messages need to come out in love, matches of the heart, for this month. So as we get started, just to let you know, if you like what you see here on this channel, please be sure to give a like, share, subscribe, ding that notification bell so that you don't miss any updates from future postings. And additionally, if you would like to support me monetarily, feel free to do that by sending some quid my way at the PayPal link in the description box below. So that said, we're going to go straight into the reading for our Taurusians, as they say sometimes on the internet. Now, we have here, as your final outcome, the King of Swords. And King of Swords is a very cold and dry kind of outcome. And we have clarifying the King of Swords, we have the King of Cups as well. So when we look at these two as your outcome, these seem to manifest two sides of yourself. So one side of yourself is very logic, fact-based, and not really focused too much on the trivial matters of your love life. What you're actually doing is you're guarding yourself quite heavily. And you're doing this because deep within, clarifying that, what's the King of Cups here, is you're granting yourself a chance to have some emotional stability that's going to allow you to be able to approach life in a more balanced state of being. Oftentimes when I see these two cards coming together, I see a person who is deeply emotional and who feels at a very profound level, but they are guarding themselves in order to protect their heart. Now, this isn't the typical, like, well, if this person does this to me, then I'm going to fucking ruin their lives type of, reading, or, this person broke my heart, so I'm going to go around breaking other people's hearts. No, it's a very mature approach to love. This is kings. These are kings here. King of Swords clarified by the King of Cups, meaning that this King of Swords is guarding this King of Cups and protecting them from any kind of attacks and to prevent any vulnerabilities in them. So that's how you perceive your life, your love life nowadays. These kings experience this level of maturity after going through kind of all of the different progressions of the minor arcana and their suits, and they master those things that they embody. So in love, you may have been a person who has dealt with a lot of bullshit, and this is a step up from the Queen of Swords, who is the embodiment of people who have gone through a lot of bullshit. So what we're seeing here is that there is a person who has gotten to a quiet and peaceful acceptance of the nature of love and what they are doing. Rather than jumping headfirst into a relationship, they're analyzing it from a more mature stance, asking themselves, what is this relationship going to do for me that's going to impact my life? I am sat on a throne, and therefore, in order for me to protect this kingdom that I rule, which is my life, I need to be able to be very shrewd in the way I approach relationships because I do feel deeply. And I see this kind of like in the progression of your different cards. In the first ones, we have 4 of Cups, and this is clarified by the 2 of Cups. There's more of that energy. You're rejecting certain relationships you may have had offered to you. You may have tried dating for a bit, and you're realizing that it's time to put those away, because what you want more than anything is a genuine love relationship. Even if it's with someone who doesn't really have or share your same background, you're not in the situation where you want to accept just any old relationship. You want the real thing. And that is how you're approaching love in February of this year. And so what we see here, we see a person who is going from that energy now moving into the Emperor. And what we see, the reason why it's the Emperor is because of the Nine of Cups in the reverse. So after failing to achieve this genuine love relationship, you may just be in the point where you're just like, you know what, it's time to take care of myself. It's time to stop worrying about the external world around me and start to rule my own kingdom. And I don't know why I keep having this kingdom vibe, because there's a lot of masculine energy that's resonating throughout this, throughout this reading. And one thing that you know about love is that you cannot control the types of people. Well, you can control the types of people that enter into your life based on your vibration and your frequency, but you cannot control what people do when they are in a relationship with you. You can elevate yourself. That doesn't mean that the other person will do the same. And so rather than focusing on all these failures, this lack of wish fulfillment, you're bossing up, you're stepping into your power, and you're saying, you know what, fuck all of you. My life is sacred at this particular point. I have a kingdom to rule, which is my entire microcosmic existence. And I'm going to move forward, and I'm no longer going to focus on these love relationships. As you begin to do this, you'll start to feel this Page of Swords energy there. And this could go one of two ways, because you have the Hierophant clarifying the Page of Swords. Now, when we have the Page of Swords clarified by the Hierophant, what we're getting are several things. First thing is, like, you're asking yourself the question, what is it that I want to actually find in a suitable partner? Who would I want to marry? What kind of qualities would this person have? And these are the long dialogues that you'll have with yourself in order for you to understand what kind of person would be suitable for a marriage relationship, a long-term relationship even. The other thing is that perhaps you're learning painful lessons about the types of people you've attracted in the past and what kind of effects they've had on your specific love life, and the way that these people have impacted your personal development. So, for example, Page of Swords looks at the situation, they analyze it, they communicate to themselves very difficult, painful truths. And a lot of these truths about love in your life have made you become the stronger person that you are today. And I hate saying that, because it's kind of a shitty thing to have to say. It's like, okay, universe, can I have a love relationship? And the universe is like, nope, but you're going to learn all these lessons through relationships to kind of rub salt in the wound. And then additionally, it's all going to be for your own higher development, which is great in by itself. It's a lovely thing to have the universe kind of give you the kick in your ass that you need through the relationships that you kind of want, but instead you don't get, but they then lead you to your spiritual development. This is very common for people, that have a Saturn in Libra. You learn the harshness, the severity of the universe through your relationships with other people. I have that. And yeah, it pretty much fucking sucks. But the good news is that I can approach it from a very logical, detached manner now. And this is another reason why I don't read a lot of love tarot card readings, because I see love as kind of a way of reflecting your nature to you based on the way you interact with people. So if you're constantly in toxic relationships, if you're constantly getting into a lot of bullshit or being attracted to people who are not necessarily good for you, it's because this is what you expect of yourself. You expect to be treated like shit. You expect to be sad and never find any stability. You're probably unstable yourself. and it reflects a lot of the internal struggles that you yourself would have. Not to say that's a bad thing. Everyone's at their own personal development in their love life and in their spirituality. And I would just say that it's important to be introspective, to cast a reflection so that you can understand what steps you need to do to break those cycles. Unless you're absolutely just head over heels attracted to just like dark triad motherfuckers that are not necessarily good people, by all means, carry on with the Chad and Stacey shit show that's, permeating our dating scene today. Anyways, moving on to that next part. We have the living room, we have success in love, and we have legal matters. So, this type of person that you would attract, say, for example, you do attract someone in the month of February. It could be said that maybe this person works in the legal industry. Maybe this person is very good with the law. Maybe this person has actually had to deal with their own legal matters, which maybe they have separated, gotten out of divorce, or maybe they're going through some contract signing on their end. Success in love does show that the person that you deal with either has a good dating history or they will have a successful relationship with you in the union that you would have for the month of February. The living room, not sure exactly what that entails specifically. Maybe you'll have a good time in your living room. Maybe you will get some in your living room. God only knows what that means. But I mean, you could even take it as a sense that this person enjoys comfort. They enjoy just kind of like a Netflix and chill attitude. They're probably a homebody a little bit. They love to entertain. They love to watch films and just have a really good time. So they're not necessarily the type of person that goes out as much, as they like to just kind of stay in, do their own thing, and spend time with you, just kind of hanging out, chilling in your own space. Because some people, they can find that the hearth, the home, is very sacred to them, and that's where they find the most intimate, connections. For example, the home is representative of Cancer. Cancer is a very nurturing type of individual, and in doing so, that's where they would have their best times. If in the quintessential embodiment of Cancer, we could say, because not all cancers are alike. However, for your oracle message, and this comes from the Guides of the Hidden Realms Oracle, we're looking at what is holy, what is true. And so what this talks about are several things. It talks about appreciation, witnessing the unmerited gift of grace. And so the way I interpret this is that for you, for this particular period, we find out that despite all of the bullshit that we've gone through in our life, despite all of the madness, the crazy situations, the failed relationships, the, backfired and misfired love relationships, the false starts, all of those things, we are appreciating our moment and appreciating our existence, the lessons that these relationships taught us in the past. And that's possibly what you're doing. You're appreciating and you're learning how to understand what kind of lessons these relationships have taught you. And that is where this king maturity comes through, and that emperor energy that you also had. So for the month of February, I see you getting more in touch with yourself by understanding what it means to have loved and lost. And additionally, the joys that you've had, the painful situations you've had, and understanding that it has brought you to the level that you are in now. Now, what is the likelihood that Taurus will actually meet someone in February? What is the likelihood? It's possible. It's possible. Let's try one more card. Okay, so Six of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, and then the Two of Pentacles there. So 6 plus 2 is 8 of Pentacles. That means that you have the choice to give to this relationship if you want to. You have the choice to determine what you're going to do in this relationship, how you're going to juggle certain aspects about it. And that will in turn lead to this beautiful, kind of refilling of cups. This, I would see it almost as like, if you decide to give to it, it has the potential to offer quite a bit. One of the things I always think about in the traditional Rider-Waite, this person's hat right here is always the funniest thing. Every time I see it, it kind of reminds me of someone who's wearing like a condom on their head or something like that, some kind of rubber. I don't know why that image comes into my mind. So yeah, if you decide to get sexually active, maybe that's the choice for you to wrap it up. I don't know why I'm getting that message in there. It's pretty fucking lewd right now, but it has appeared, and therefore I'm just going to blurt it out, me being my Sagittarius self, in the ascendant. That said, I'm just going to leave it there. That's going to be your message for this month, February. Hopefully you have a very good Valentine's Day. This is Limited Tarot. Thanks so much for joining as always. And thank you so much for your support, love, and everything that you've shown so far. I do appreciate it. The channel is growing slightly, and it's really, really, inspiring me to try to get back into the swing of these readings and, get on a schedule so that way we can get these readings out there in a timely manner. Anyways, I hope you do have a lovely Valentine's Day. Thank you. And I hope you've learned something from these messages, or they've been of some service to you. Until next time, love and light. Take care.